Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami. Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami.
My favorite, you know what I'm saying? And it's me, your girl, the Talk with Tiny. And as you can see, my title today, I put a title there, and I think I'm gonna be easy. I'm gonna cut folks up wisely today because, as you can see, the name that I even put up, I never do this unless I was, really, somebody would come for me, and I play the little YouTube, little to and fro bullshit. But today I really mean business, because when I speak life over things, I really do speak life over things, and that's the power that I have invested in me. By the power, by the Most High. Okay? The Most High has invested in me. You understand? In all my trials and tribulations, I have become wise, wise, and wise. And wisdom is my favorite of it all. I could never hunger for anything like how I hunger for wisdom. So when I deal with individuals, I look at them, how they present themselves, and me having experience. One thing I know is when your enemy will dare to stand in your face and talk politely to you and use, great, wonderful, big, marvelous words, but his heart and his mind has already cut you up. So we do. I don't do emotions. Because like I said, once again, I will always tell y'all, if I have to live my life according to emotions, I'll be a hot mess. I'll be broken down a long time ago. You feel me? I'd have been left in the dust of dawn. You know what I'm saying? And my throat is super dry. So let's wet it up a little bit. Because indeed, I am not a dry well or a dry vessel. Hallelujah. Thank you, Yahweh. I want to give you all the honor and all the glory and all the praise, Father Yah. If I don't do nothing else in this world, I will praise you and you alone. Like I done lost my mind. And that's what Daniel meant. No matter what. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they done changed their names, Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar wound up eating grass because he's a fool. But what I want to break down and set the stage up right now for you will be simple. See, I don't do simple. So every time I say simple, let's clarify something. I don't do simple-minded people, simple-minded folks. They're very dangerous. But when it comes to learning and operating your mind, okay, according to your age, it should have been something that you should have mastered a long time ago. And everything you do, you should want to be the best. You should want to mastermind anything you lay your eyes on, from the second and the thought and the speed of light. Now, that I have said that, trust me, I must have rethought this, rethought this through the whole time before I even got here. I just knew I was going to be cussing up a storm. I was going to be mad and I was going to be enraged. But I said, nah. Today we will take a new dip. So when I dip, you dip, we dip. Okay? With some spirit and truth. Now, these Gentiles, okay, once again, we're going to start identifying them. So when we do play stories, we're going to do story time right now. It has officially become story time. Okay? So now that it's story time, I will let the book of Maccabees tell you how, where they did you wrong, in Psalms 83, if you will. And how all nations have confederated against Israel to make Israel a nation no more. But Maccabees is not to be broken down in some little old petty ass little scripture. No. You have to look at the bigger picture. And everything that you're going to be hearing, I want you to imagine your everyday life. Because once you know who your enemy is, the Gentiles, you, Hebrew, royal bloodline, now that you know that you are in captivity, you identify your enemy. Hello. Oh, oh, ooh, wee. Now that you know your enemy. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right into that. So the Gentiles and the other nations have confederated against Israel to make Israel a nation no more. And you're gonna have a lot of brothers from the camps. Listen, I am not under no circumstances, okay, under any delusion, that Second Thessalonians have spoken about. Okay, so today I will be cutting your asses up, ass. I'm gonna cut that ass up. I'm gonna cut that ass up. Because it's nice and early, I still got some energy, and I feel like laying it down. You know what I'm saying? For the clowns especially. Listen, get your ass over here, sit right here for a minute. So, you in the camps. I ain't saying you don't know how to read. I ain't saying none of that. I'm not saying anything. What I am saying is this. You know who the Gentiles are. You speak all this and all that in the camps, right? And you always look down at people. You preach your shit on the corners with your mics, right? Now listen, I'm going to kindly expect you to do more than that. We are in 2020. If you say you are a God for yea or God, for the love of the Most High, y'all, please stop reading that Bible like it's a game. Listen, it is not to be worshipped in any form or shape. It is a grand present warning, which is reminds me. Thank you, Grandmaster J, for all you do. Now, for all the messiahs out there, that the white people, the Gentiles have, spoken of, God forbid if the messiahs begin to rise. So, like, we coming across the sayings, not every kin is and like I said, Egyptian brown skin is not always going to be your kin, right? That's what we're dealing with out here. And we always got to keep that in mind because it is definitely only and always will be about a seed. The seeds that have been just going through so much, you know, throughout the whole earth old time. We talking about Israel. We talking about, come on, listen, let's be logic. Let's be logical. Let's expand our thinkings. And according to the white people, that is their favorite saint. Because they are on a mission to save some children, accordingly, that the government, shadow government, their peoples, their ancestors have created. And they are coming sideways. So today we're going to be talking about them, and I will let you hear sound bites of them expressing themselves. Because there's always going to be those, Margies and those Trixies and and so forth. So they're gonna get their words in, and you're gonna have those howdy cockadoodle-doos, rednecks, sitting, waiting for a snake to crawl up his ass, and think he's calling the shots, howdy doody looking ass mofo. I promise, I'm gonna keep it clean. Because the more logic I sound, the more better people will get it. And you know what? And even if you want to go around my thoughts and say, listen, you gonna listen to me because at the end of the day, I really can't hear you. So even if you do write a comment, I'm just gonna erase it because if it makes sense and it's not biased and it's truth, it's spirit and the truth, I'll leave it there. But if it's your personal emotions and you're embarrassed, look, white people, it's about that time, you start facing the facts, facing the music. Of course, you're living in a time and days where, your ancestors were a part of the cabal. They are the cabal. They are the Kabbalah. Your ancestors are the Kabbalah. You Democrats and Republicans are the Kabbalah. And I'm sorry to say, to break it down to you. And that's who you are. So you come in the middle of a crisis while we're having a crisis. And the reason why I'm saying this, you'll see why. Because there's gonna be a woman talking. She's gonna have her intellectual, fucking, excuse my. I said I was not going to use profanity. I said I was not going to use such a foul language in such an amazing conversation like now. Truth be told, though. So I'll be playing her stink ass. See? I'll be playing her a little later on. And I'm not even gonna dwell on her because that right there is I'm gonna wait for that. I'm gonna save my good moments for the good moments. You also have a couple of brothers that had their own opinion. But you see, um, so I feel like, I am a part of the wave. I am a watchman, a child of the Most High, and I'm going to be. We are a problem. People like myself are a problem as well for them, because are we are filling in the gaps. We are watching. We are sounding the alarm. We are a part of the energy, the frequency, the mechanism, the blooping, you know what I mean? The North Pole. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? They'll never tell you that. But hey, they stare at our energy all day, every day. They worship it, you know? They worship it because hell, man, when you're in captivity and they have dominion over you, man, you can only imagine what they're able and capable of doing to you in the name of your curse. Now that people are starting to begin to understand this information, it's great to see that you are denouncing these delusional religions that are connected to demons, if you will. And I don't care how anyone will take it. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. I'm just here to shake your devil ass off out the way and get your nonsensical dumbass opinions out of here. I don't care about your emotions. I don't do emotions. If I want to be emotional, I could think about nearly all my dead ancestors right now that I've seen die. You know what I'm saying? Let me be quite frank with y'all too. I done, you know, just my luck. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is to see a spirit leave a body. You know, I really do. You know, I'm not out here to be playing any games, but I will say this: I'm not out here to condone violence. I'm not out here to uh, call right from wrong in an opinion. So what we're doing right now is, because people seem to be so Christian, so Muslim, so religion, etc., etc. So there's a lot of us that are just sick and tired of all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We had to deal with that shit all our lives. So we decided to start breaking these dirty down patterns that doesn't benefit us. If you want to worship a white man on your knees and you want to cry to someone that has long stringy hair and he's white and he's a Caucasian hipster on his stick, hey, all about means feel free to do you. Okay? Do you. And for all black folks that love that shit and they are the gatekeepers to that delusion, kudos to you. However, today I will be playing Maccabees, and Maccabees 1, 2, and 3, and 4 will specifically break it down to you on how the Gentiles got this far and what exactly had happened. Today we're not going to be playing Israelites in the streets. We're not going to be playing church in these front store churches. We're not going to be playing Ashkenazi games, Ludovic Chabal's Khazarian mobster games as well. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to be playing Portuguese, Spain, Britain, Germany games, neither. Is that okay? Do I really have to ask permission? Another thing, I'm so sick and tired of folks out there being so fucking shocked, okay, that all folks around the world are tired of white people. It is nothing new under the sun. You understand me? You guys are beyond played out and you don't know your limit. You just think that, oh, this white police, SWAT, FEMA, everything is going to last forever and ever and ever and ever. You're always going to have God's chosen people in captivity. Now listen, the fact that you guys do have common sense when it comes to, I see how you guys feed Israeli. Now let's talk about Israeli versus Israel. Yisrael. Two different types of things going on right now, okay? And Israeli is Judaism. That is a religion. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that off. That's what they've been doing. They are religion, that some way, somehow connects with Islam and Christianity. So they're doing their thing over there. However, we do have the children of Israel in the United States of America, all the way from the north, south, central, South America, Central America, The Caribbean islands from the Northern Kingdom is who we are right here, okay? And these white people at the Gentiles and the strangers. See, I'm going to be calling the white people or the strangers and the Gentiles and the beasts of the field, the serpents, the dogmas, which is all that adds up to the United Nations, Psalms 83, secret society, if you will. Okay? Make a long story short. Okay? So now we're going to listen to the story of Maccabees. I think that this is really, really important. These are the Lord's books that they never ever want you to know. But welcome to the year of the gods. In Psalms 82, verse 6 makes that very clear. For ye are gods, children of the Most High. And why ye are gods? Because you have the Spirit of the Most High. You've been chastised. You've suffered great long suffering. And he said, I will pour out my Spirit on all my sons and daughters in such a time. Now, we done played church for decades, okay? Now, something special about 2020, 2019, whether anybody care or not. And, the white folks, they know that they know what they know, and they will simply tell you, I mean, you don't have to take my word from it, but just go and type in what I have right here, black folks, and just look and see how mad these folks are. And no, see, in a situation like this, the reason why I said this is because so you can see who your enemy is. Israel. You need to know who your enemy is and what they use against you, how they use it against you. Every religion in the book, even creating new ones, even just hating you, it's a natural hate for the children of Israel. You think that was something small? No, that was something big. So I'm going to play the book of Maccabees. They love to play with these books, right? But no, we're going to hear it straight up. Now, no hidden agenda. If you never heard the stories, remember the Gentiles, the beasts of the field, the serpent. Let's see. Dogmas. Just keep strangers, heathens, heathens and strangers. Okay, listen. Those are your enemies. Beware of the story. You are Israel. Those who are Israel, you will know. Now you will hear your story. And it begins like this. Watch this. Hold on.
Please visit LibriVox.org. Recording dies in Jerusalem. Dies. And he died. And his servants made themselves kings, every one in his place. Please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sam Stinson. Chapter 1. Now, it came to pass after that Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian, who first reigned in Greece, coming out of the land of Sethim, had overthrown Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. He fought many battles, and took the strongholds of all, and slew the kings of the earth.
King of Persia, keep that in mind.
And he went through even to the ends of the earth, and took the spoils of many nations, and the earth was quiet before him. And he gathered a power and a very strong army, and his heart was exalted and lifted up. And he subdued countries of nations, and princes, and they became tributaries to him. And after these things, he fell down upon his bed, and knew that he should die. And he called his servants, the nobles that were brought up with him from his youth, and he divided his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive. And Alexander reigned 12 years, and he died. And his servants made themselves kings, every one in his place. And they all put crowns upon themselves after his death, and their sons after them, many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus the illustrious, the son of King Antiochus, who had been a hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days there went out of Israel wicked men, and they persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathens that are round about us. For since we departed from them,
You see what the Israel did? They went out and said, let us go among the heathens. That's a no-no. Watch this.
many evils have befallen us. And the word seemed good in their eyes. And some of the people determined to do this, and went to the king, and he gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathens. And they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem, according to the laws of the nations. And they made themselves prepuces, and departed from the holy covenant, and joined themselves
And they departed from the holy covenant and joined themselves. Listen to this, y'all.
to the heathens, and
The heathens, oh my God, dude.
were sold to do evil. And the kingdom was established before Antiochus in Jerusalem, according to the laws of the nations. And they made themselves prepuces, and departed from the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathens, and were sold to do evil.
And were sold to do evil. Wow.
The kingdom was established before Antiochus, and he had a mind to reign over the land of Egypt, that he might reign over 2 kingdoms. And he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great number of ships. And he made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid at his presence, and fled, and many were wounded unto death. And he took the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils of the land of Egypt. And after Antiochus had ravaged Egypt, in the 143rd year, he returned and went up against Israel. And he went up to Jerusalem with a great multitude. And he proudly entered into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of proposition, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the little mortars of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornament that was before the temple, and he broke them all in pieces. And he took the silver and gold, and the precious vessels, and he took the hidden treasures which he found, and when he had taken all away, he departed into his own country. And he made a great slaughter of men, and spoke very proudly. And there was great mourning in Israel, and in every place where they were. And the princes and the ancients mourned, and the virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of the women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and the bride that sat in the marriage bed mourned. And the land was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 full years, the king sent the chief collector of his tributes to the cities of Judah, and he came to Jerusalem with a great multitude. And he spoke to them peaceable words in deceit, and they believed him. And he fell upon the city suddenly, and struck it with a great slaughter, and destroyed much people in Israel. And he took the spoils of the city, and burnt it with fire, and threw down the houses thereof, and the walls thereof round about. And they took the women captive, and the children, and the cattle they possessed. And they built the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with strong towers, and made it a fortress for them. And they placed there a sinful nation, wicked men. Then they fortified themselves therein, and they stored up armor and victuals, and gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, and laid them up there, and they became a great snare. And this was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil devil in Israel. And they shed innocent blood round about the sanctuary, and defiled the holy place. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled away by reason of them, and the city was made the habitation of strangers, and she became a stranger to her own seed, and her children forsook her. Her sanctuary was desolate like a wilderness. Her festival days were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach. Her honors were brought to nothing. Her dishonor was increased according to her glory, and her excellency was turned into mourning. And King Antiochus wrote to all his kingdom, that all the people should be one, and every one should leave his own law. And all nations consented according to the word of King Antiochus. And many of Israel consented to his service, and they sacrificed to idols, and profaned the Sabbath. And the king sent letters by the hands of messengers to Jerusalem and to all the cities of Judah, that they should follow the law of the nations of the earth, and should forbid holocausts and sacrifices and atonements to be made in the temple of God, and should prohibit the Sabbath and the festival days to be celebrated. And he commanded the holy places to be profaned, and the holy people of Israel. And he commanded altars to be built, and temples, and idols, and swine's flesh to be immolated, and unclean beasts, and that they should leave their children uncircumcised, and let their souls be defiled with all uncleannesses and abominations, to the end that they should forget the law, and should change all the justifications of God. And that whosoever would not do according to the word of King Antiochus should be put to death. According to all these words, he wrote to his whole kingdom, and he appointed rulers over the people that should force them to do these things. And they commanded the cities of Judah to sacrifice. Then many of the people were gathered to them that had forsaken the law of the Lord, and they committed evils in the land. And they drove away the people of Israel into lurking holes, and into the secret places of fugitives. On the 15th day of the month, Caslu, in the 145th year, King Antiochus set up the abominable idol of desolation upon the altar of God, and they built altars throughout all the cities of Judah round about. And they burnt incense, and sacrificed at the doors of the houses, and in the streets. And they cut in pieces and burnt with fire the books of the law of God. And every one with whom the books of the testament of the Lord were found, and whosoever observed the law of the Lord, they put to death, according to the edict of the king. Thus by their power did they deal with the people of Israel, that were found in the cities month after month. And on the 25th day of the month, they sacrificed upon the altar of the idol that was over against the altar of God. Now, the women that circumcised their children were slain according to the commandment of King Antiochus. And they hanged the children about their neck in all their houses. And those that had circumcised them they put to death. And many of the people of Israel determined with themselves that they would not eat unclean things, and they chose rather to die than to be defiled with unclean meats. And they would not break the holy law of God, and they were put to death. And there was very great wrath upon the people. End of chapter 1. Chapter 2. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib, from Jerusalem, and he abode in the mountain of Modin. And he had 5 sons, John, who was surnamed Gaddis, and Simon, who was surnamed Thassi, and Judas, who was called Maccabeus, and Eleazar, who was surnamed Abaron, and Jonathan, who was surnamed Aphas. These saw the evils that were done.
Oh, by the way, you will hear about your famous Judas right here in Maccabees. Let's get it.
In the people of Judah and in Jerusalem. And Mattathias said, Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see the ruin of my people, and the ruin of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it is given into the hands of the enemies? The holy places are come into the hands of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without honor. The vessels of her glory are carried away captive. Her old men are murdered in the streets, and her young men are fallen by the sword of the enemies. What nation hath not inherited her kingdom, and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. She that was free is made a slave. And behold, our sanctuary, and our beauty, and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have defiled them. To what end then should we live any longer? And Mattathias and his sons rent their garments, and they covered themselves with haircloth, and made great lamentation. And they that were sent from King Antiochus came thither, to compel them that were fled into the city of Modin, to sacrifice and to burn incense, and to depart from the law of God. And many of the people of Israel consented, and came to them. But Mattathias and his sons stood firm. And they that were sent from Antiochus answering said to Mattathias, Thou art a ruler and an honorable, and great man in this city, and adorned with sons and brethren. Therefore come thou first, and obey the king's commandment, as all nations have done, and the men of Judah, and they that remain in Jerusalem. And thou and thy sons shall be in the number of the king's friends, and enriched with gold and silver, and many presents. Then Mattathias answered and said with a loud voice, Although all nations obey King Antiochus, so as to depart every man from the service of the law of his fathers, and consent to his commandments, I and my sons and my brethren will obey the law of our fathers. God be merciful unto us. It is not profitable for us to forsake the law and the justices of God. We will not hearken to the words of King Antiochus, neither will we sacrifice and transgress the commandments of our law to go another way. Now, as he left off speaking these words, there came a certain Jew in the sight of all to sacrifice to the idols upon the altar in the city of Modin, according to the king's commandment. And Mattathias saw, and was grieved, and his reins trembled, and his wrath was kindled according to the judgment of the law, and running upon him, he slew him upon the altar. Moreover, the man whom King Antiochus had sent, who compelled them to sacrifice, he slew at the same time, and pulled down the altar, and showed zeal for the law, as Phinehas did by Zamri, the son of Salami. And Mattathias cried out in the city with a loud voice, saying, Every one that hath zeal for the law, and maintaineth the testament, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains, and left all that they had in the city. Then many that sought after judgment and justice went down into the desert. And they abode there, they and their children, and their wives, and their cattle, because afflictions increased upon them. And it was told to the king's men, and to the army that was in Jerusalem, in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone away into the secret places in the wilderness, and that many were gone after them. And forthwith they went out towards them, and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said to them, Do you still resist? Come forth, and do according to the edict of King Antiochus, and you shall live. And they said, We will not come forth, neither will we obey the king's edict to profane the Sabbath day. And they made haste to give them battle. But they answered them not, neither did they cast a stone at them, nor stopped up the secret places, saying, Let us all die in our innocency, and heaven and earth shall be witnesses for us that you put us to death wrongfully. So they gave them battle on the Sabbath, and they were slain, with their wives and their children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 persons. And Mattathias and his friends heard of it, and they mourned for them exceedingly. And every man said to his neighbor, If we shall all do as our brethren have done, and not fight against the heathens for our lives, and our justifications, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. And they whosoever shall come up against us to fight on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him, and we will not all die, as our brethren that were slain in the secret places. Then was assembled to them the congregation of the Asidians, the stoutest of Israel, every one that had a good will for the law. And all they that fled from the evils joined themselves to them, and were a support to them. And they gathered an army, and slew the sinners in their wrath, and the wicked men in their indignation, and the rest fled to the nations for safety. And Mattathias and his friends went round about, and they threw down the altars, and they circumcised all the children whom they found in the confines of Israel that were uncircumcised.
Do you push through 4 or more migraine days a month?
They did valiantly, and they pursued after the children of pride, and the work prospered in their hands. And they recovered the law out of the hands of the nations, and out of the hands of the kings, and they yielded not the horn to the sinner. Now the days drew near that Mattathias should die. And he said to his sons, Now hath pride and chastisement gotten strength, and the time of destruction, and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, O my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers, and call to remembrance the works of the fathers, which they have done in their generations, and you shall receive great glory and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was reputed to him unto justice? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment, and he was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas, our father, by being fervent in the zeal of God, received the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Jesus, whilst he fulfilled the word, was made ruler in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received an inheritance. David, by his mercy, obtained the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, while he is full of zeal for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias and Azarias and Misael, by believing, were delivered out of the flame. Daniel, in his innocency, was delivered out of the mouth of the lions. And thus consider, through all generations, that none that trust in him fail in strength. And fear not the words of a sinful man, for his glory is dung and worms. Today he is lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his earth, and his thought is come to nothing. You therefore, my sons, take courage and behave manfully in the law, for by it you shall be glorious. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear to him always, and he shall be a father to you. And Judas Maccabeus, who is valiant and strong from his youth up, let him be the leader of your army, and he shall manage the war of the people. And you shall take to you all that observe the law, and revenge ye the wrong of your people. Render to the Gentiles their reward, and take heed to the precepts of the law. And he blessed them, and was joined to his fathers. And he died in the 140.
Now listen, there's nothing new under the sun. Render he the Gentile. Now listen, that is in the making. Which takes me, so you heard the story, you hear the history of the Gentiles, you see how aggressive they always been, how conniving, how cunning. The Most High ain't got nothing for them. Nothing. So the part that they come and they persuade you to believe that you need to love your enemy and pray for your enemy, I think is hideous. It's a violation of your human rights in your mind. They carry out this class act against God's chosen people, the children of Israel, and they carry on like, no, I don't have to recognize you as the children of Israel. But knowing damn well, the day that these same governors and governments and politicians in these political arenas, the day that they start admitting the truth, you know darn well you heathens, strangers, beasts of the field, etc., will become terrified to know how you shot black people up in these streets, the children of Israel. How you treated Israel and given and had the audacity. See, I'm making a note of it today because you know what? We're so close and they're so doomed. So Israel, let's hear our first contendants. Not contendants. What am I gonna call her? Let's hear our first. She looks like a Trixie. I'm not even going to call her Karen. I'm not going to call her Becky. She looks like old as Grandma Trixie. So we're going to hear old as Grandma Trixie come for NFAC Grandmaster Jay. Now, I'm not saying that I'm speaking for him because the man is a well-spoken lingua professional. And he will take my words and even make them sound way more prettier. I guarantee you that. Because that's what he learned how to master. He's a great, wonderful master. Now, people, Caucasian, no, wait. The heathens, the beasts of the field, the strangers, they have a problem. Well, I wouldn't say the strangers, because the strangers in the end are going to want to be the ones that are going to be taking Israel to their possessions. Don't want to miss this. This is awesome, and I'm gonna encourage those weaklings to become strong. That's what I'm doing. I'm feeding your rotten ass souls out there. And for the ones that have something to say with this title on their pages and their videos, well, I have something to say too, because that is my brother, and I may not be his mouth, but at least I am his keeper, because that's what we're doing. And rather, black all around the world, my dream is capitalism, black capitalism. Now, not to say that it wasn't like that before and you guys aggressively took it. I mean, it's not nothing new under the sun. I mean, you guys, that's what you strive for, to stay on the top, So for anyone in this pandemic who is rushing to go back to be the same, just know that if you would just, fight for your rights and your human body rights and stand for, what you really believe in, and if you really, really want to dream big, like, get that, try to make that Martin Luther King dream become as real as possible, because Martin Luther King didn't have a little dream. His freedom, free at last, meant to be no Gentiles, no heathens holding you in captivity against your will in a matrix, as such as, okay? With on a land that is full of natural resources, okay? That they work you to death like cattle and goyams according to their, you know, pyramid, if you will. So I'm just speaking. So I want this lady. I'm gonna voice my personal opinion about this woman right here that I'm about to play as a soundbite. And she definitely thinks that someone is going to help her fight for some damn children. You think that somebody is going to line up with you as if we are an equal. You want, and then you have the audacity, the tenacity, slick voice, to say, oh, I'm shocked. But Grandmaster's just whining. As if this is your land. As if this is your stuff. You have no idea how, the day war does start. What would be your worst nightmare? You think you're going to have slaves to come to your rescue? That's not going to be the case. Who are you going to draft? Not the black man, not the black Latino man, not anybody for that matter. Even though Trump is just, giving superpower to China, at least trying. Because falling Babylon is just long gone. Guantanamera, you feel me? But let this chick, I'm gonna be elaborating around this donkey honky, okay? Hold up.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is July the 10th, 2020.
Oh, she is so contrary.
I'm Cindy K. Courier. And I don't know, I just thought I'd turn this thing on and start talking. I may or may not post this video.
Scare ass trying to be bold with it. That's why, punk.
Because what's on my mind is probably controversial. There's three things on my mind. Number one, China. If you're not aware, the officials are beginning to release parts of the Three Gorges Dam.
Girl, shut up. China in the middle of a war with India, trying to freaking recolonize Africa, and here you are trying to say what about us, the Israelites, in the captivity. Tell me now, come to like that.
And they've already begun, well, they already had been, the Huawei, however you say it, dam, had already been getting some of its water released to keep it from bursting. And now the Three Gorges Dam, which is just north a little bit in the same province, is being let some of the water released. And as they're releasing some of the water, according to reports, businesses have been blowing up, exploding. They've evacuated a lot of people, they've evacuated a lot of businesses, but China is in
Sound like a hunky crime to me. Oh, sheesh.
trouble. At least that province is, which happens to be the same province that Wuhan is located in. So, China's dealing with disaster right now. Heavy rains, flooding.
Drown, bitches, drown! Shake, shake, shake! Shake, shake, shake. shake their booty. China underwater bitch. Excuse my French. China just got the earthquake shook out of his ass. Next.
Illness, lots of stuff. Another thing that's on my mind, I said to a friend yesterday, humanity's just sort of floating out there right now because the people who exerted so much control over us just years ago no longer.
What? You are white privilege. Stop trying to ease your. Listen, we're not doing the left, we're not doing the right. We're talking about your ancestors. I just want to put that out there, ma'am. Trixie, we're gonna be talking about your fucking ancestors. Let's keep that. Stay in your lane, okay? Stay in your lane.
Longer exert that kind of control directly. Their control is exerted through ignorant people now. And we don't realize how easy it would be to put those ignorant people in their place and to take this earth for humanity. We don't realize it because we're so used to the way things have always been that we're just waiting for someone to do something. Waiting for elections, waiting for someone honorable to run, waiting.
Yes. Now you can feel my Martin Luther King dream. Bitch, I'm trying so hard not to. Even the heathens are feeling what I'm feeling. You hear me? Keep dreaming, but she thinks she's slick with her mouth. You know what I'm saying? She knows this is what's coming. She tastes it. But it won't be for you, honey bunny, honey donny, honey donkey, honky donkey.
Waiting. When it's really yours to take.
Yes, we know it really is ours to take. How dare you?
This earth is ours to take. We've got a law form.
Ours nothing. You better go find your side of the earth. And we're about to come out this captivity, baby. Take it or leave it.
Now that allows that. When are we gonna?
And you gonna be the strangers taking us to our possessions. Yes. We know that you know where everything is. The word said so. So we look forward to your honky stranger looking ass to come be a housemate, baby. We got this. You see, it is what it is. Let's speak logic. And they know this too, y'all. They read these books. That's why they try to brainwash you. They know what it is. They in love with the thoughts of being drafted in. Exploiting this word like nobody's business. I gotta keep stopping and elaborate. I'm smashing her ass right now. You know what I'm saying? Her vibration is going back to the abyss. Period. Every last one of them.
Gonna take it. And what brought that home to me in such a real way this morning was the recording of one of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's victims talking to Whitney Webb. And it was posted by Rumor Mill News, this video. And, the victims know that all of the United States Congress has been blackmailed by this blackmail ring operating out of Israel.
Girl, shut the fuck up. Okay, because it's me that put that story together for you, honey. Y'all love Q so much. It was one of me. It was people like me. I told you, your ancestors is some raping ass bastards. But y'all want to play the left and the right game, and then y'all want to act like, oh, black people, Democrats are black people, and only no. And there's y'all white people's doing the most. And you want to act like we don't know about the shadow government underground. Let me show you what my black ass know about your motherfucking honkies. Stop undermining us. Stop downplaying what you think about us. We're wiser. We are the fucking lights of the world, baby girl. The salt of the earth. The one and only peculiar. You can't top that. So anything y'all are walking around here, running around here trying to preach, baby, y'all ain't doing nothing but being exposed. Everything you say and do, you like a torch. I saw you all up in flames. Your words, everything. I can just imagine you burning in hell already. You're so fucking evil. They so evil. And they think they slick with it. They talk nice, humble, but their heart is so ugly. So carry on, honky, donkey.
And the fact of the matter is, as the victims tell us, all of the federal government's involved.
It's the whole government. It's the fucking network. Lolita Expressway. Every president been in that motherfucking island. It's a network. Hollywood, politicians, your president, bitch. Don't forget that. All the presidents, okay? Not the fucking law of the jungle, bitch, but the Lolita Expressway, okay? With your motherfucking President Bush looking ass. You look like President Bush. High on crack, bitch. But go ahead. Let's digress.
So they're not going to take themselves down, and I've been saying that. What's going to take them down is us realizing the truth about them. And
Bitch, go deal with your own ancestors. Go deal with your own ancestors. And the only thing y'all should be doing is cocking your guns back too. But you're not gonna do that. Cause you're gonna worry about people like my brother trying to rise. But you are too double-minded edged sword. That's what you are. That's why I'm cutting your ass up. I'm cutting you up.
then just building our own world. And it's time now, see?
But you had your world already. Your white honky donkey white privilege ass had your life already, bitch. See, this what y'all need to do, man. Overstand this shit, man. Take full responsibility of all your fucking actions. I don't care. I don't care. Anything you have inherent, give it up. Give it to somebody black. Give somebody back their motherfucking 40 acres and a mule. Let them move in there with their pit bulls, bitch. Give it up. Be given. Be a giver. Let's go. When I see y'all honkies scheming like this is what pisses me off. I already know what you're gonna say after that, but wait till everybody else hear your stupid ass, bitch.
It's time to do that. It's easier now than it's ever been. That brings me to the third thing on my mind. As you know, I was researching NFAC, No Effing Around Coalition, headed by Grandmaster Jay. A lot of what that guy says, he does this little podcast, and you have to be a member of his some social media thing to get those. So I'm not a member of that, so I don't get those. But his podcasts are being posted on YouTube, and I've been catching some of those. And a lot of what he says, a lot of what Grandmaster Jay says, boy, seems spot on.
Yes, because you read the books, bitch. You know the religion. You know your honky ancestors. You know everything, right? Oh, right on, right? Don't we all? Don't we all? But go ahead.
He says it with such authority, just this deep voice and this alpha male presence, this charisma, until he starts whining like a little
Until what?
alpha male presence, this charisma, until he starts whining like a little schoolgirl. It's really kind of befuddling listening to this man, because you want to have confidence in what he's saying. You really, okay, yes, he's built an army of 100,000 people, black people, he says, ready to protect black people. Okay, cool. But then he devolves into this, who's going to give us money? Who's going to give us land? Nobody gives us a state. And it's taken me a while to grasp where he's coming from, and I think I finally, the government gave Native Americans their own reservations, and it looks like this guy, the Grandmaster Jay, expects the same thing. And of course the federal government didn't give it to him, so now he says he's going to the World Court. to force America to give him land. Here's what I want to say. I guess I should just say it right to you, Grandmaster Jay, if this reaches you. Surely you know, you present yourself as a student of history, as a teacher of history. So surely you know that the people who enslaved you and your people are the same people who enslaved me and my people. And they aren't human. They go by a lot of different monikers, Draco Reptilian, AI, but the bottom line is they didn't do things the way humans do. They didn't recognize your humanity. They didn't recognize my humanity or our people's humanity. Oh yeah, they did recognize it, but they back-engineered it for themselves. These are the same entities that kill little children and drink their blood. Yeah. Just don't do that.
Bitch, I don't know what you even think you gonna slide up in there like it's a bill, bitch. This is not a bill at the last minute, bitch. Take your crazy ass the fuck on and fuck you and your motherfucking reptilian ass ancestors, bitch. We know what we dealing with. And it's not a we. You're not a part of the we. It's not a we, bitch. It's we. We are tired. Are you tired, bitch? Are you tired? You don't sound tired. You sound like you a sarcastic ass hunky. Just like y'all do. You sit there and you try to be too smart for your own good. Rather it's trying to trick a bitch into religion. Trying to take somebody's freedom away. Rather it's trying to frame somebody. Rather it's trying to kill somebody. That's all y'all motherfuckers are known for. Reptilian, yes, we know. That's right. That's why we have different entities too, baby. And they're called chariots in Ezekiel 1. They're called hard mechanisms that you guys really fear the most right now. Actually, you really fear our gamma right now. Let's be realistic about our gamma that you guys are trying to stop. Because our gamma is not meant to do nothing but to fight, to kill. That's the energy that's falling upon us, you know. And aren't you guys scared? But you see, this is all biblical. And you guys stole an identity, so of course you know exactly what you wish you really fucking had. We overstand this shit, baby. Now, we know that that's what they do. It's a government, their shadow government. They build monarchs and retards like you all over the place. Satan's children. Yes, we know this. Well, not everybody, because a lot of stupid ass motherfuckers too busy having sex with reptilians, brothers per se, and praising, you know, white Jesuses and rather it's white Muhammad. So I never seen a black Muhammad yet. So I guess white Muhammad is white too, right? So go ahead, girl.
We are a human race. And you can section yourself off like a special victim.
No, see, you know already the story how it goes. You know it is just like that. You're not a human race. You only projecting and wishing what you really was. That's why you shift-shifting and you want to eat some blood and drink some adrenochrome, right? Because that's what you do. Y'all can't help yourselves. You snuff, video making ass motherfuckers. You do everything the children. We know. Then you come and you try to play this Republican, Democrat, two-party, what you guys are all want. You've been doing this shit for the longest, you know. Then you come and you play the Jesus game, like your God, it's your color. Hey, you can have that motherfucking Jesus on a cross, that hipster. You can have that shit. You can have that shit. You hear me? That's y'all shit. That's y'all motherfucking garbage. That ain't none of mine. You understand? Overstand. So go ahead. Finish saying what you were saying.
Of these monsters if you want to, but you know as well as I know that they take any and every form that will benefit them, including Asian, Native American, European, And yes, African, black, white, they take on any color, any culture, including the Jewish culture.
Yeah, because everybody believes that they're the chosen people. They're not the God chosen people. Period. They're not the God chosen people. That's what happened, honey. You're not the God chosen people, you know, but you love to prey on the poor. It's one thing y'all always get caught doing. You always get caught preying on the poor. Why? You don't have nothing better else to talk about. Nothing better else. You can't talk about nothing better else. You are ludicrous. Your guilt is eating you alive every step of the way. And everything that y'all have done to us, you shall reap what you sow. Period. Can you imagine? And yes, you guys always been there doing the most. You just can't help it, you know. But you know, like everybody should, you know. You don't have to like, you know, black people. If black people left, and they just went to Africa to the Southern Kingdom, you motherfuckers would want to be there too. Cause you can't stay away. You can't live without fucking black people. Just gotta have them. You want to call us brothers and sisters and treat us like shit. Treat us like shit. And talk out the side of your fucking mouth. Like it's cool. It is not cool. You haven't begun to experience the fuckery shit that y'all do. But y'all love to project. And it's, then you have the nerve to say, oh, you gotta take down. Let's move on to the next. We'll be back to her. I just want to see the next crazy ass folks because they scared as fuck. They won't admit it. But look at this. This doofy looking John Travolta look like somebody slapped him 1,000,000 times in his face. Ugh.
Hello everyone, I've got a message for Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC in general. In case you've been living under a rock, the NFAC stands for Not Fucking Around Coalition. They are a group of black militants who have decided to get militarized.
Who's whining? And he look like he sniffed some heavy ass coke. That's how shocked and delusional he is. I can't make this shit up. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can see his facial expressions to see how the whole world is a drunken cup off of Israel right now. They're shameless, but they're ashamed at the same time. And their shame is eating them alive. They're terrified to only believe and find out, oh my God, we've been lynching the children of Israel. The whole world will be terrified. And you heathens will be eaten up alive by the earth. By the earth. The earth will spit you up. Take your asses straight on down. This is not a game. It's not.
In case you've been living under a rock, the NFAC stands for Not Fucking Around Coalition. They are a group of black militants who have decided to get militarized. And they got out there and say, we're not fucking around anymore, we aren't our ancestors. But that being said is, to Grandmaster Jay, if you think I'm just going to blast you mindlessly and all that shit, you're wrong. Honestly, I was actually pretty impressed. I mean, you showed it, your group.
If only you could see his face. Scary as bastards. You know? And that's you know what happened? They forgot to come to the table. They lived their best lives. They forgot to come to the table. One day you're gonna have to come to the table. You know what I'm saying? And yes, you're gonna have to accept that your ancestors have done that. And you're gonna have to accept that you guys are still reaping the benefit of it all. Right now. You don't respect human people. You got all into this cute garbage shit and you missed the memo. You too busy worried about Mueller and all them fake ass clones. But you forgot to realize, like, you know, maybe you should go listen to Rabbi Falkenstein and see how he talk about y'all white goyams and cattles. Cause that's your European people. Somewhere, I don't know if you're Greek or if you're no Jew, no Greek, no Jew, no Greek. Y'all love to say that shit. No Jew, chicka chicka, no Greek. Y'all wish. Give me a freaking damn break. See, I'll be out here cutting y'all asses up in spirit and in truth. And the truth will hurt. But you know what? If you have any right sense in your mind, you will take the heat. You would take the heat. You would back off. You would back off. You would want to do what's right by nature, naturally, because it's going to be in your bones to get to back the fuck off. As we go down the line. So, you know, I like how they start off nice and they try to be all easy and they always throw the most malicious thoughts in between. Peep game, y'all. See, I don't care. Look, it's all about hearing every word, feeling his vibe. Just close your eyes and imagine his goofy ass looking like John Travolta just took a fucking hit of crack. You know what I'm saying? And he start tripping while he's talking about this brother of mine. I'll gladly put the link in the description box. So, because I don't want nobody coming for me with their bullshit ass videos. You feel me? Well, let's see this clown ass so we can move on.
Showed a good amount of discipline, and
He's
it was
foaming.
pretty.
Foaming out the
And
mouth.
obvious that at least some of the crowd knew what they were doing.
Mm.
And, you know,
Mm.
I was amazed. I mean, there were obviously a few hundred, maybe even over 1,000 people there. And I'm all for your right to freedom of speech. I am all for your right to self-defense. Hell, I'm for everybody's right to self-defense. Whether they be white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Christian, Jewish, atheist, Muslim, or whatever, Republican or Democrat, or Nazi or communist. If you are attacked, you have every right to defend yourself. And that's just it. Although I did see one of your videos where you where you said it's like, we will not tolerate one more death from, whether it be it from a white person or a black person. And honestly, props to you, dude.
See, of course they're gonna take us serious when we start talking about black on black crime. Cause they're like, what? Wait, they want you to stop killing each other? Oh shit, something gotta give. Hold up. They don't like that. They love when we kill each other. I'm telling you. They love that shit. So they know when motherfuckers are serious. When you really become your brother's keeper, baby. When you become your brother, let me tell y'all, brothers and sisters, something. Alright? When you become your brothers and sisters keepers, pulling up on shit, ready to, you know, like how they do. Shh. I promise you. Only two things can happen. Only two things can happen. We make history in a good way, or we gonna make history in a bad way. You feel me? So, on to the next video, because I'm not even gonna play nothing else about that. I don't know his name. I don't give a fuck about his name. He's a tarantara as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not out here for fame. I'm just out here peeping the game. the waves, the sound effects. But this other one, oh my goodness, why is my computer acting stupid all of a sudden? Mm-mm. This other one though, we're gonna play this other one. This other one over here, I think it's funny. I think it's real funny. And my computer started acting stupid, so I'm gonna connect this phone over here to the surround system real quick. Um, so y'all can hear it. He's a howdy dowdy cowboy. Oh my goodness, hold up. Where is my history? Period. Scary as folk. Where is this mofo at? Where the country mofo at? Oh, here he go. Here you go.
Howdy. I'm going to address this video to Grandmaster Jay. Whether you watch this or not, I don't know. I don't believe in you. I watch your video. And what I see is you recruiting young black males. I know this because I made a couple of videos against you. And your followers have been commenting whether they are mistaken or whatever. Talking some pretty damn rough talk. And I've heard you talk some pretty damn rough talk. And I believe you're a threat to the United States of America and our justice system. And I think that you are a terrorist.
And just so you see it in color in real time, this is what they do. This is how they feel. Even in Martin Luther King, this is why they killed Malcolm X. This is why they killed Martin Luther King. This is why they killed every black man. Every black man. But see, what they don't get is that, how can you be a threat when all you fucking KKK motherfuckers just been doing the most forever and ever, and you don't stop. You don't stop. We like all the way in time, traveling in time, and they still don't get it. They got the Israel in captivity. They're worshiping some synagogue Satan. They still don't get it. They still don't get it. And the only reason why they do that, they did that, delete, is to conquer the world. Everybody feels dumb because they say they're the God chosen people. How the world would be terrified to know that they have this major, and most of them know, and that's why they waiting. They're like, oh, we waiting, because the strangers, they're gonna. I'm telling you, the word said it. Even they know. Come to a point where they finding out all kinds of types of shit that these white people do, and they know it's a system. It's systematically. It ain't about just one white or left and right. It's about all of them. What they have done to many nations. And what all nations have done to Israel. Period. Point blank. This is their nightmare. Watching the children of Israel wake up before their eyes, speaking loud, sounding the alarm to them. But they still don't listen. So, what are we to do? Well, listen to them. This is their dying cry. In our captivity, they're saying this. Take heed to this, y'all. This. I'm cutting their asses up. They think that we're supposed to be, trying to go and fight them and be bold. No. It's all about shaming their asses to the core. You smear them. You let them know, I am royal. I am the God chosen people, and I smear you on the bottom of my feet with a smite. I smear you. How dare you? They ain't nothing but a snare. You know? That's all your enemy is a freaking snare. That's why they police you. That's why they do the things that they do. They ain't nothing but snares. They are the walking serpents, talking serpents. You get it now? It was a regular serpent, one of those that hit Eva. You know what I'm saying? Got it in with her. Violated her. They took wives from themselves. Okay? That's what happened. They told you about the fruit. What fruit? What fruit? The fruit that got defiled with these demonic forces? I speak in spirit and in truth. I can't even imagine that these people sit there and play like everything their ancestors have done and still doing and still counting. This is all they want to say. Look.
Using your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, that's fine. You're an American. But it sounds like you don't want to be an American. It looks to me like you're going against our Constitution, this country. And you're trying to start some damn trouble. And most likely you're going to, because I've seen your behavior. I've seen you take a knee and dare out rednecks, whites. I've seen that video. And I also seen the video where you went up to a car because some man was laughing at you, confronting him over it. That's not the type of behavior that is being talked about. Don't trust you. Any American in their right damn mind wouldn't trust you. You are a divider.
You are a divider. Like, what? Y'all think we motherfucking best friends? Like, we be cool? Like, we cool and we all this? We, whoa. Hell to the motherfucking nah. Y'all got us fucked up. Y'all don't play right. Y'all unfair. Y'all unequal. Y'all, man, be unequally yoked. Do not be yoked up with these mofos, yo. I swear. They ain't nothing but a yoke around your neck. That's your yoke right there. The religion, praising them, worshiping them, dealing with them, anything with them. That's your yoke right around your neck. And they love to make money off of us. They can never deny it. You know how much money they make? Free slavery. Even just to see us destroy ourselves. The prisons, the 13th Amendment. Once you go to prison, you are officially a slave. That's the 13th Amendment. You hear that, y'all? So you got indirect slavery. You know how much slaves they have in prison, and that philosophy right there. Boom. Why all my brothers and sisters locked up? Because the 13th Amendment became a slave. When you get locked up, you become a slave. That's your 13th Amendment. So they play this little shit, they make contracts with big companies and they do indirect slavery. So I'm going to be on this channel talking all the time. They want to feel threat. They haven't even begun. You think that everyone is supposed to be, no. If we put the politics to a side, put the weapons down. Okay? And look at humanity. And look at everything they've done, even with dogs. Even back then, no weapons, just swords and dogs. See? Their nature. But that's okay. Because, I have a video I want to play too. And this is my favorite video at such a time right now. And I want to play my my I want to play my homie. I want to play my homie. Hold up. I gotta play my homie. And my laptop wants to act up. But I'm gonna play my homie right now. Okay, let me go and get him. He's the only one who won't set this record straight. Folks need discipline. And then we're gonna be talking about the other youngin dude, the Israelites on the streets. We're gonna set the record straight for that, cause they got that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just gonna let Rap the News tell it, please.
Happening right now is going with their weapons of war. So this is Rap the News, and I speak 100% the truth. A lot of people I see have a problem with the truth. So we put out a video the other day, and it's called "The Prophets Were Black," and I said that matters because the words that the prophet says God are the words that he put in their mouth. They cannot say one word that he did not put in their mouth. And so if the prophet says, I am black, it's because God wanted everybody to know that the prophets were black, and it matters what God say. We have Richard 31 minutes ago. They want to claim that you're racist because they don't like what God is saying. Raptor News didn't say none of that. God and the prophet said those things. But we have to say the truth. We can't hide the testimony because people are going to be butthurt over what God has done. Let them be butthurt. It's